The cryptocurrency boom. Where will you be when it happens? I'm asking you that because if you're like me, you saw the internet boom happening. You were there before it. You saw it starting to happen. I mean, I know some of you are probably so young you don't remember, but you can probably imagine, right? Well, maybe you can't. If you're so young that you weren't there, you probably can't imagine how we could miss it. For those of you who were there, you know exactly how you miss these things. They don't come around very often. So I really want you to start thinking about this, thinking about things that you already know. If you're short on time, I encourage you to opt in to get the presentation that I'm going to be going over right now by email because I am going to go over a lot. I'm going to go through really big stuff really quickly. So you can get that if you need to walk away at any time during the presentation. You're also going to get my lead generation and crypto building system, literally be able to test that out for free to generate leads and cryptocurrency, because there's lots of ways to generate cryptocurrency. I'm going to talk about that today as well. If you have to go, if you're short on time, anytime during this presentation, opt in so you can get that, so you don't miss that. Okay, so this presentation is going to remind you what you already know. And I just kind of referenced why that's so important. So many of us missed so many opportunities in the past, like the internet boom, because we were scared, we were hesitant, we're going to talk about that. But you need to get in touch with what you already know, because you probably knew then that there was a huge opportunity passing you by. I'm going to go over some things that you may not know yet that are in the cryptocurrency world of resources, opportunities. I'm going to go over all that. We're going to address regulatory issues and your responsibility if you're going to move forward with tapping into our free system. I'm going to emphasize why I'm not here to convince you of anything. That's so important. I'm going to discuss a system for generating cryptocurrency commissions on autopilot. So for those of you who've already been dabbling with that or doing that, this is going to help you immensely, because that's what I am really strong at. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about right now, just understand that the entire world of cryptocurrency works much like the internet and referral marketing, like Amazon. The way most stuff's getting sold to you online, you don't know. Somebody's getting a commission for it. Well, that works the same way in cryptocurrency. Very legitimate organizations, just like in the internet world, it's working in the background, paying people a lot of cryptocurrency. I'm going to talk about a system that I'm going to hand to you to test out to see how that works before you have to pay anything or do anything. And in fact, I'm not charging anything for this system at all right now. I just know that as we get busier and busier and busier facilitating the growing team using this free system, the day may come where I may need to charge for it. Right now, it's literally not being charged for anybody, and people have been using it for many months. I keep evolving it, adapting it. We got a team supporting it. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to also show you how you can test the system for free. Exactly how do you do it? How do you tap into it? It's actually quite easy, but you're going to learn how before we're done today. So, okay, so here's some things that you may know. You may already know. Bitcoin is booming, right? Cryptocurrency is booming, which are basically spin-offs of Bitcoin in many ways, or spin-offs of the blockchain technology. We'll talk more about that. But a lot of you already know that. There are still tremendous opportunities. We need to talk about what you may already know, like Bitcoin is booming, because just like with the internet boom, many of us knew that it was booming, knew that there were huge opportunities, right? But we didn't plug in and tap in because it's so easy to get distracted by the fear and the scarcity mindset and the news media and the confusion that's thrown at us. So you need to get in touch with what you already know so that you can zoom in on that, tune in, and then take advantage this time. So like, what are some indications that Bitcoin is booming? You see, like, these are different types of Bitcoin ATMs. You see it getting integrated into our life right before our eyes, just like the internet was. By the way, going back to the internet boom real quick, just to really drill that home, remember how it was being debated and people on the news media were constantly saying that these were experts at the time, didn't believe that the internet was anything more than a fad, and they didn't believe that they would ever be profitable. Do you remember that? For those of you that are too young to remember, that was like the common message during the boom. that the internet would never be profitable. And now you have Amazon buying out Whole Foods. You've got giant retailers that had dominated for decades that are now out of business because of the internet. And again, when you look back, for those of you who were old enough to look back and remember that time, it was kind of obvious. It was kind of obvious. And what I'm showing you now are Bitcoin ATM machines popping up all over the world, the United States, Canada, every continent. Here's a site. You can go to coin atmradar.com, coinatmradar.com, and get a Bitcoin ATM map and see how many are in your area. They're everywhere. Go there and check it out sometime. And what's funny is I took this screenshot and it was at 2,265 Bitcoin ATMs. And a few minutes later, I guess it was like a half a day later, I was working on the slides. I hit refresh and it had grown by a huge number. I mean, a large number. So it's just constantly being updated. That's where people can turn their cash into Bitcoin or use their debit card or prepaid card and turn it into Bitcoin. Like, it is integrating into our lives right before our eyes. A lot of people say, well, you can't spend Bitcoin. Again, it's integrated. There were days where we couldn't use the internet either, and then there were days where we could. There were days where you couldn't order anything online, and then there were days where you could. Then there were days that you could order things online, but the businesses weren't profitable yet. And now there are days where companies like Amazon are buying out companies like Whole Foods. That's how it happens. Like, yeah, of course, there's a period before it all becomes so ridiculously obvious. That's where the opportunities are. There's a time where people can't spend Bitcoin easily, and then there's going to be a time where they can. It's just the way it works. And we can debate all day long if Bitcoin is going to be the one that stands the test of time or if it's going to be Litecoin. It's kind of irrelevant. Right now, they're leading the market. Okay, it's really important to understand that there was a time where Yahoo was leading the internet search engine market. Then Google came along later. But those that were investing in Yahoo made a ton of money, and also were able to be the first to see the next opportunities that sprouted out. You know, Elon Musk made his big money from the internet boom. Like, he made it by being a participant with PayPal. And now that's spun off into all kinds of things that he's been able to do. You're not going to see the opportunities unless you're in the game. So yeah, maybe it won't be Bitcoin in the end, just like it's not Yahoo that's dominating. But the people that were in during that time that had made a lot of money with Yahoo had the opportunities that spun out of everything else that came out of the internet boom. It's so important to understand that. So right now, Bitcoin's the dominant brand for blockchain. It was the first to make it big, and it's leading the technological revolution, you could say, and certainly in branding and innovation. So let's not diss Bitcoin, even if it doesn't end up being, in the end, the granddaddy of them all. That's irrelevant, just like it was irrelevant at the time that Yahoo was being developed and people made huge sums of returns during the internet boom before Google came along. You got to be in the game or you're not going to benefit and you're not going to see the next trends. Anyway, so you can spend Bitcoin right now. You can get a card like BitPay and go online and real quick and easy. I've got one. I love using it. I use it at restaurants. I use it to buy gas. I buy clothes. And I'm spending Bitcoin. It's really easy, but it works just like a Visa card. And you can use it anywhere, online or offline. So people are already spending Bitcoin right before your eyes all the time. There's all kinds of cards like that. It's really easy to use. It's funny that doesn't come up very much when people say, well, you can't use it anywhere. Well, you can use the BitPay card, and a whole bunch of different cards are out there. And check this out. This is February 2018, and this is like it's all over the news. It's so obvious what's going on. And again, I'm hopefully telling you what you already know. Like, I want to just get you in tuned with what you already know that's happening around you that proves where we're at, and just make it in your mind parallel to what you saw happening in the internet boom, because it was obvious then too. But a lot of us, I'll talk about that and why I didn't fully take part in that. A lot of us missed it. I'm not going to miss this. And I'm talking to people that don't want to miss it either. I'm not here to convince you of that. I want to talk to those who already are there, but get you in tuned with what you already know. In some of this you may not know yet, but just reinforces what you know, which is this is happening. Coinbase wants to make it easier for you to buy those shoes with cryptocurrency. So this is just something that was on Fortune magazine. Down here it says Coinbase, the largest US-based cryptocurrency exchange, has rolled out what's essentially PayPal for crypto. With Coinbase Commerce, you'll be able to pay with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin. So this is happening all around us. It's become easier and easier to spend your cryptocurrency. By the way, Coinbase is no small thing. Like if you have money in Coinbase, a lot of people purchase Bitcoin and Litecoin and these different cryptocurrencies with Coinbase. If you have cash in there, it's FDIC insured. Like that means it's got the seal of approval of the highest authority of the banking system and government in the U.S. It's not just some little small-time organization. There's huge money and infrastructure behind all of this. Don't let the noise confuse you. That's just chatter trying to confuse everybody while they're trying to position and have some ulterior motive, which is fine. That's the way it works. They're using media to do that, to be able to get a position in the dang thing. And they'll be knocking Bitcoin or whatever they can to try to get a foothold. Let's look at the Bitcoin price real quick. So this is a trend just in the last week. It had gone down. Everyone panics. It's ridiculous. It's a correction. It's a healthy correction. It's like earthquakes. If you don't have one for too long of a period of time, then the correction is going to be huge later. You want to have little corrections along the way. And so it dropped down. It had been up to almost 20,000. It dropped down to below 8,000, and now it's creeping back up in a 1 week from 8,000 to 11,000. Shows you how strong it is. Shows you what's going on. Let's look at this real quick. Again, hopefully I'm reinforcing what you already know. Check this out. So Bitcoin, this is like the map from like the beginning of Bitcoin to now, and you see this correction that happened recently because they went on the futures market. Big institutional money got involved, so everyone got excited, went up, and a lot of people are saying that the institutions were trying to drive it down so they could buy it again, but you could see it starting to bounce back up. But what's important to understand is look at the curve here, right? And then look at this. This is really interesting. The last slide was where we're at now, but this goes back to quite a long time ago. And in April 28th, 2013 to November 30th, 2013. So we're talking about almost 5 years ago. So look how, and like it says down here, look at the insane parabolic growth on this chart. But now look at the next slide. This is looking at it up until late 2017. This little thing right here, you see this little thing right here? That was that last chart we just looked at. That's it right there. Let's look at them side by side. So this parabolic growth is actually represented right here. And like it's saying here, so if you sold because you thought it was going up right here, if you sold there in 2013, then you missed out on 1,600% run up. And the point is, a lot of people believe that's what's happening right now, that it's not high now. It's not even close. That what we've seen in terms of highs is like this little bump, and that it's just going to go parabolic again on a whole nother level. That's what really we already know. I'm really speaking to those who really should already know that based on what you saw with the internet boom. I don't want to convince you of that. I really want to talk to people that really are already there, because there's so much bigger stuff to do. There's so many opportunities. There's so many things to plug into. And I just don't want to be working with and giving my system away to people who just don't get that or don't get it enough. I get there's always uncertainty. We have to acknowledge there's always risk, right? Of course. We don't know the future. But yet, when you look back at the internet boom, didn't you kind of know? I mean, if you didn't, then you're going to totally miss this. I kind of knew. I pretty much knew. And I think you probably did too. Didn't know exactly what to do, where to go. Now I've learned you just need to jump in and then navigate from there, or you're going to miss an opportunity of a lifetime again. That's me talking to myself, not me talking to you. You're either already there or you really shouldn't be here with me, is what I'm saying. I don't want to convince you of this stuff. I'm just running through stuff. Most of it you should already know. Maybe some other stuff that I'm running through is a reinforcement that you didn't quite think of or know exactly, but it's all reinforcing what you already know, that this thing is going to go much, much higher. So, here's a shot again of where we're at. We're in this correction period, but now it's bouncing back. Now, who knows exactly what it's going to do? The point is, we should know enough based on what we saw during the internet boom. and what we're seeing happen all around us, regardless of the noise and confusion and smoke and mirrors. Bitcoin price to skyrocket. This is all fairly new. It's January 24th, 2018. New from the time that I'm recording this. And all of this, these are classic principles, classic concepts. So if you're watching this later in the year, this is still relevant. Bitcoin price to skyrocket. Expert has no doubt Bitcoin will reach over 100,000. You guys are hearing this stuff all the time. John McAfee bullish on Bitcoin price reaching 1 million by 2020. Hedge fund managers reap 3,175% profit off Bitcoin in 2017. I mean, what this is all indicating, guys, which again should be already pretty obvious to you, even if you didn't say it out loud. What this is all indicating is that, because this is the kind of stuff we saw during the internet boom while they were saying it was never going to become a profitable model, that none of the prices of the stocks were legitimate. We were hearing that all the time, but amidst all that, we were seeing obvious signs that it was, was going to be huge. And what this is all indicating, because these numbers are astronomical, what this is all indicating is this is going to be even much larger than the internet boom because of the scope and scale of this blockchain technology. So for those who don't know, blockchain is the technology that drives Bitcoin, that runs Bitcoin, that makes Bitcoin work. It's a digital ledger in which transactions made in Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency are recorded chronologically and publicly. So you don't need a centralized location like a bank to keep track of everything. It's like mathematics and this really cool, what they call blockchain technology that tracks everything. So this can infiltrate and impact and influence and change and revolutionize and innovate every industry, every market, every niche, everything that there's a transaction. So from how the library keeps track of things to how information is stored and passed back and forth between people accessing it, to the way currency is used, it improves the efficiency and trust factor so that a centralized location doesn't have to be responsible. It makes everything cheaper. People are like, well, it's not cheap to send a Bitcoin. Well, you don't understand how expensive it is to use money because they hide the fees. Like when you go to the store, you're not paying for the fee right there when you run your card. They are, and that raises the prices. This actually is going to decrease the prices of everything, which helps combat inflation, helps it's going to impact every economy and everything. It's going to be way bigger than the internet boom. Cryptocurrency market, again, which is using blockchain technology. It's actually not just for currency. That's kind of a term that's being used, but cryptocurrency is really use of the blockchain technology in everything that you could possibly imagine. I mean, that's how it's being used so far. Cryptocurrency market could hit 1 trillion this year, with Bitcoin surging